coming right there.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to our Tactical Tuesday live stream right here. I got to mute that one. Yeah, I got it. I got you guys on different TV screens and everything all around here. Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. We got a great live stream planned for you tonight. I don't have Steve Holland coming. Steve's going to stay at home. Yeah, the holiday season, everybody's got stuff going on. And so anyways, we're going to have a great live stream. It's just us. I get to visit with you guys. You can tell me how your holidays were and everything. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. I've already checked in with my moderators. They are all squared away, ready to go. But hey, we also got a good sponsor tonight too, right down here. SDI. If you guys aren't familiar with Sonoran Desert Institute, you really need to check them out. What it is, that's one of those online schools, but it's accredited. So, but the cool part is they're geared straight towards the firearm industry. So let's say you want to get into, and they cover all kinds of stuff, obviously armor skills and functions and stuff like that, but shooting, sports management, Stock-Checkering, muzzleloader builds, Kydex forming, scope mounting, customizing, woodworking, all that stuff. It's a DEAC accredited school. Basically, what does that mean? I don't know. What it means is, let's say you're Joe, you just got out of the Marine Corps. You can use your college fund, your GI Bill, at SDI, which is a good deal. It really is a good deal. I know guys that have taken classes. You don't have to go get the whole college degree or your firearm certificate. You don't have to. You can just go take a couple of credits, take a class on what you want to do, right? And that's all I've done my whole time in the military. Whenever I had a break to go to college, I've got, what is it? It's like 193 credit hours of all this other courses. I never got a BA in anything. I didn't want anything. I take classes on what I need to get better at. So anyways, good stuff. I've got a runny nose, guys. Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough. I hope you guys had a great holiday season. So for all my Hanukkah people out there, I hope you got to light all your candles or whatever. Just don't kill my prophets anymore. For all my Christians out there, and for all you atheists that just love the holiday season, I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know I did. Me and my family, we had a great time. We get together Christmas Eve morning. We go and have a big breakfast over at some friends of the family. We do things all Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve night, we had a small church service. They do all these candle lightings and everything. And me and my nephew-in-law, Jamie Gapp, we got to go up and read the little thing and light all the candles. It was kind of cool. Wrapped that up with a big dinner out at the shed. Helen, you guys know my Aunt Helen. She's my aunt that I make wine with. She had the whole shed filled with all these little finger foods. And I mean, it was beautiful spread. It's right out of like a Better Homes and Garden magazine article. It's crazy. She had everything. So beautiful. And David was there and the whole family. We had a great time. We then, you roll in the Christmas morning, and my son and my daughter came up from Nashville, bad weather and everything, but she was there Christmas morning, opening all the gifts. And yeah, and everybody got stuff and all. You roll down into Christmas afternoon. Actually, me and my son filmed on Christmas Day. I had Emery come in because Emery didn't have, he broke up with his girlfriend, so he didn't have anywhere to go for the holiday. So I invited Emery to come down. He showed up a little after lunch Christmas Day, and me and my son, we filmed a video out in the snow about this new waterproof gun bag. The video actually comes out tomorrow. It's a good gun bag. So if you've got somebody gave you a check, maybe your mom sent you $50 for not going to prison this year, who knows? But if you got a little extra cash you want pretty well one of the nicest gun bags I've ever seen. Anyways, it's made by Vulcan Arms. You'll see the video tomorrow. It's only like 3 minutes long. It's not very long, but yeah, we're gonna put that video out tomorrow. It's not a Friday video, but it's a good gun bag. Good gun bag. So we filmed that, and then I cooked a big spiral ham. Spiral honey ham. Oh, that stuff was so good. We had all the leftovers and everything that Helen had. Helen didn't come. Her and David did not come down. They were laid up with COVID. So, okay, y'all stay up there. That's fine. Even though we had just spent like the last couple days with them. No big deal. No big deal. But what we did do was, I gotta lock that checkbook up. We did have a great time. We had a bunch of family. We had the baby over, little baby Ada, and whole family was there. We did a whole dirty Santa thing and all the, the big saran wrap ball that you've got to unwrap. And there's lottery tickets and gift cards and chocolates and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, we had a great Christmas evening, and yeah, we had a good time. Yesterday, back to the grind again, having to work on more stuff, editing videos, and I had to check on Helen and everything. But one thing my wife wanted me to remind me today, Saturday, is there were a lot of you guys that sent me Christmas cards or Christmas gifts even. I got another one today. Yeah, I got a great gift in the mail today. I try to thank everybody. I try to email them, text them, whatever. If I said thank you to you, I'm saying thank you again. But if you were one of the ones that sent a Christmas card or a gift or even just a fine greeting, it might have been an email or whatever. If I did not say thank you to you personally, I'm here publicly. You guys know who you are. I just want to say thank you. I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to personally give each and every one of you guys a hug and say thank you. I hope everybody got what they wanted for Christmas. I thought I was good. My son, he had his stocking and, the chocolates and the big candy cane and all that stuff. And he had a nice gift that was printed because it hadn't been delivered yet, rolled up a little ribbon around it. My daughter, she had her stocking. And I emptied out my stocking. I got some chocolates. I did. I got coal again. Not that coal's a bad thing. Coal's better than not getting anything at all, and because Santa's got a sense of humor, he at least sends me coal that's in the shape of a skull, right? That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, but it's getting kind of old. That's like 3 years straight, and I try, guys. I try. I try to be a good guy. I try to be a good guy. I try. Try to be a guy. I'm talking to the studio audience here. I try to be a good guy. You guys know I do. Anyways, it is what it is. I hope you guys got what you wanted for Christmas. I did. I live a very blessed life. You guys know I do. One thing I will say though is my whole family is laid up with COVID. The house, it's not just Helen and David though, because they're older. I ask that you guys keep them in your prayers. The house next door, my brother-in-law, Addie, they've tested positive for COVID. So anyways, I just popped some more Tylenol. I've got the chills, which means I've also got a fever, but it's taken the edge off of the headache a little bit. Relax. I can't give you COVID through this screen. You understand? We have this barrier right here. All right, so it's no big deal. All right, COVID's not the end of the world. You'll be fine. Yeah, I'm treating it with some of the best pharmaceuticals that the world has. Coffee, all right, 5 Stone, of course. And that is some good cup. Thank you, by the way, for the guy that sent me this cup. This is very cool. Got to put some more medicine in my coffee. Because, you know, you've got to, if somebody's, and you're sick, you gotta take your medicine. So, I know my wife is watching me right now. She's a little mad. She thinks I take too much medicine. Anyways, so yeah, I ask that you keep my whole family in your prayers so that we can recover quickly from COVID. Oh yeah, that's medicinal right there. That was exactly what I needed. So here's the deal. You know the deal. You notice we have got Super Chat turned back on. We had Super Chat running, and then YouTube, bless their hearts, you know how they like to mess with actual good Americans. They said, we're not sure you're actually who you say you are, so you've got to prove it to us that you are actually Carl Erickson. Otherwise, we're not going to let you do any advertisements, no Super Chat. Really? So, so a couple hours ago, I did the paperwork and everything. I had to actually upload documents and stuff. And anyways, long story short, Super Chat's working. Now, you don't have to do Super Chat, though, if you want to make a small donation to the preservation of Carl Erickson Foundation. I encourage you all to do that. You don't have to. If you've got a legitimate question, just put it in the chat room. My moderators will pull it. I got Randy texting me, completely forgetting that I'm in a live stream right now. No idea. All right, and Susan Britcher has sent two. I guess we've had two Super Chats already. First one's from Rifleman. Carl, 2 live streams ago, you answered 2 questions without Super Chat available, so here you go. Riff, I like the way you think. Okay. And the next one, the Gustash 2531. Man, your mom named you weird. Can you imagine how many kids that woman had to have to just say, your father had the mustache, not like the other ones. There were 3 Gus's, but your father had a stash. So I'm going to call you the Gustash 2531. That's a lot of kids. She had a lot of kids. Tell your mom I said hi. And I've never met her. All right. Can a victim go into shock without suffering any traumatic injuries? If so, how do you treat them? Yeah, actually, good question. There's all kinds of different kinds of shock. You guys, us in the tactical world, we are most familiar with what we call hypovolemic shock. In other words, blood loss. What shock is basically is the inability of the body to get enough oxygenated blood to the brain to allow your brain to still function properly. So if you start donating blood at the blood bank so you can buy beer, remember, they only take 1 unit from you. They give you your donut. You go buy your 1 Budweiser. You get drunk on 1 Budweiser. Everybody did that when they were in high school. You then go to the next blood bank and you give another pint of blood. So you get 20 more bucks. And then you go to another blood bank where you use your buddy's ID. You go back to the first one. You start losing 2, 3, 4 units of blood. You start going into what's called compensated shock. In other words, you're still getting enough blood to your brain, but how your body's doing it is it's actually constricting some vessels to cut off blood from getting the other areas that doesn't need it. It dilates certain vessels to make it easier for the blood to come back to the core. You start breathing faster because there's not as much blood. So you start breathing faster to get more oxygen into what little blood you have left. And your heart starts beating faster to get that lower volume to go through your brain faster. Your body is compensated shock. Now, as you lose another unit of blood and another unit of blood, the heart rate can only go so high. You can only breathe so fast. So you eventually will reach a certain point where your body just can't get enough blood up there to keep you, and your level of consciousness starts to go down. You start going into shock, uncompensated shock. But what we as civilians, untrained civilians, go, oh my God, he's going into shock. He's lost enough blood. He's going into shock. Now, we see that as, and you guys are all grasping what I just said because you all are smart. Obviously, you're fans of Tactical Rifleman, right? I don't say that about everybody, okay? But you guys are bright cookies. Now, that's hypovolemic shock, but there are other kinds of shock. For example, septic shock. Septic shock, literally, you've got an infection in your body so bad that those vessels don't constrict to support that bloodstream anymore. It just basically, all your vessels go, and they just float. They open up that vascular space, and now you're, no matter how fast the heart starts beating, it just can't keep enough blood going up there. Neurogenic shock, and there's all kinds of different kinds of shock. Now, when they say, oh, she went into shock, think about that woman that fainted. She's at the altar. She's scared to death because this is the biggest day of her life. Right? My wife at our wedding, she was shaking so bad, all the petals were falling off of her bouquet. It's beautiful. My wife didn't pass out. She didn't. My wife's tough. But you've all heard about brides that pass out at the altar, and that's because they are scared to death. They're in fight or flight, and they haven't drank or eaten anything for the last 2 weeks because they're trying to get that fat ass into that dress. You know, they want to look their best on their wedding day. So it doesn't matter if she's a size 3. She's going to buy a size 1 for her wedding dress. That's the American way. So she hasn't eaten or, more important, drank anything, and she's already at a volume deficit. So then when she goes into fight or flight, she gets scared, gets black around the edges, she passes out. It makes for great wedding photos, but that is an example of someone passing out. She's from shock, basically. And there's not any trauma involved. I mean, unless she hits her head on the altar, something like that. Great question, dude. Great question indeed. Yeah, great question. I'll deal with that. But he goes on, how do you treat it? You treat it the same way. All right, lay them down, loosen their clothing to basically make it easier for the blood to go back to the core. Raise their feet, elevate their feet. Now, I want to caution you, if you've got tourniquets on both legs and the guy got shot through the legs and has shattered all those bones, you understand, if there's a tourniquet on that leg, you raising that leg is not going to get blood back to the core, number one. And two, you raising that leg, if there's any broken bones, you understand you're not helping the patient. But if there's no bony compromise in the lower extremities, no tourniquets on the legs, you can elevate their feet, not like straight up in the air, but just elevate it above the heart. And that will help make it easier for the blood to flow back out of the legs, back to the heart. The big thing is lay them down. They do what's called the Trendelenburg, where you can sit a patient up. A lot of beds will sit up like that. But you can also do what's called the reverse Trendelenburg, which is basically so the bed, put bricks under the foot of the bed, elevate it, and that allows the fluid to get back to the brain. That's not always a good thing to do with a patient. It's not, because it also increases fluids backing up into the lungs. Don't just randomly do this stuff if you're not switched on. All right. Good question though, man. Good question. All right. Be Rich threw down 2 bones. Thoughts on generators, watts, dual fuel, etc. Right now, there's a lot of people in the U.S. right now that are having the worst snowstorm of their lives. I know a lot of you in different countries, you're not dealing with this. I mean, if you get in the southern hemisphere, they're actually having summer right now. But where we're at right now, I want to say there are parts of New York around, was it Buffalo? I think they had like 90 inches of snow already, which is just insane. Snow's not a big deal. Inconvenience, tough to plow, not a big deal. Even ice storms can be just as bad. They really can. And what I mean by that is it's cold. You got power lines that fall because of the ice. You got power lines coming down because of the snow. Okay. But more importantly, that we've had this big temperature drop and everybody's cranking their central air, their electric heat pumps on their houses. And including Kentucky, where I'm at, they've actually done rolling blackouts. In other words, they turn the power off for 30 minutes in this neighborhood, and then they turn it back on. And then the next neighborhood, 30 minutes, and then it's back on. And the reason why they're doing that is to alleviate the strain, the load that's on our power grid right now. One, that tells us that our power grid is not growing as fast as the population is. And it's not just the number of people, the amount of electronics that we use, like all these guys that want to plug their electric cars into the buildings now, that electricity's got to come from somewhere, like it or not. But it's not just the electric cars. It's all these new electronics, and you've got even your doorbell has got a camera on it now. All this jackassery people are doing, it requires more electricity. So how do you deal with it? They are dealing with it preemptively with rolling blackouts. But what about if you get hit with a no joke blackout in weather like this? You need to be able to heat your home. You do. You need to be able to heat your home. Now I have my nice little hill. A lot of you are familiar with my hill. Nice private road that goes down, comes up on the hill, and I've got a few houses up here on the hill. We're all family. Everybody knows if something happens, they can come over to my house. Sorry guys, my head is killing me right now. Don't let COVID beat you. All right. So my house has a backup generator on it. Now, it's already wired because I may not be here, all right, but it is already wired. It is already wired so that it kicks on, and it does its self-test for 20 minutes to keep everything lubricated every Saturday. But if the power goes out, it immediately cuts on. Takes about 5-10 seconds for it to cut on, long enough for the light to start blinking on the microwave. Power back on, you're good to go. And even though my house is heated with natural gas, you still have to have electricity. All right. That's for all you guys out there with your natural gas fireplaces. You still have to have a lot of and I understand there are some that do not require electricity. So please don't vent in the chat room. But for the most part, people that just put pretty gas fireplaces in their houses, you've got to have electricity to run it, whether it's natural gas, propane, whatever. My house is heated with natural gas. I have to have electricity to run my system, so I have a backup generator for that. Now, he asked about multi-fuels. If you're just getting a small backup generator, and I have, right, because I could have the power go out and my backup generator that is set to run everything, all the, freezers, fridges, everything. What about if it doesn't start up? You understand, it was like negative 20 degrees with the wind chill factor. That chills an entire house very, very quickly. All right. If that backup generator didn't turn on, and they did rolling blackouts twice on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve morning, power went out twice for us. What do you do if it doesn't, the backup generator? Remember this saying for our guys out there that are prepared. We all say 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Okay, so I have a backup generator. It is by no means as good as the automated one on the side of the house. It is not hardwired in. It's not. But it is better than nothing. All right. Now, if you're going to get a generator, you've got to think about your situation's different than everybody else's. So my guys that are in an apartment, understand you putting a generator outside and firing it up. By the time you get back up to your apartment, everybody else has already plugged their extension cords into yours, and 30 minutes later, somebody has stolen your generator. They've cut the chain that you chained to the side of the building, and your generator's gone. They make small battery packs, Blue Yeti, and there's all kinds of other companies that make decent backup battery packs that you can actually keep in your apartment. They work very, very well. I've got a video on one of them. You can find it in our video archive also. As far as types of fuel, here, understand electricity can go out. All right, gasoline, they can cut off, right? You have runs on the gas stations and stuff. One of the most secure things for this part of the U.S. is our natural gas. That's just the truth. Natural gas is a very, very stable, well-protected system. Ice storms, everything don't affect it. Is it still possible for it to go out? Yes. All right. I have a propane company right at the top of the hill, right on the border of our property. So it would make sense for me to run propane, not because it would run out. No matter what size tank you have, potential is there for it to be high or low when this catastrophe happens. Natural gas, it's always there. Now, that said, the type of generator that we have, you can swap the jets in it from propane to natural gas, from natural gas to propane. Buy those extra sets of jets, put them on the shelf, don't worry about them. And if I had to go to the top of the hill and get a propane tank, let's just say, me being mechanically inclined, it's well within my family's capabilities. Guys, that is some good coffee. Eric, if you're watching, brother, Eric from Five Stone Coffee, that's good stuff, dude. Man, that is good stuff, really is. Guys, you go to, it's called fivestoneusa.com. I don't make a dime off of it, but I asked them for a promo code TR10. Eric, Merry Christmas. I'm glad you got back from your mission trip in Africa in time for the holidays. Totally badass. All right, we've had a bunch of other questions come in. Again, guys, remember, you do not have to do Super Chat for a question. You so do not. Next one is from Andrew George. Threw down $10 minus shipping and handling. Been saving up for night vision. What should I look for? What should I avoid? Is dual tubes worth the extra money instead of a single? Thanks. I love your content. Been watching for a few years now. First off, I'll start at your second question. Is dual tubes better than single tube? Yes, it is, because for driving, for example, or even shooting, I can have one tube set for infinity, basically where the bad guys are on the battlefield or driving outside the car. You can have the other one set focused closer in the dashboard of the car so you can still read all the instruments when you've got them blacked out, but also so I can see the sights on my pistol if you're not running IR flood and laser. All right. That said, if you watch our live streams enough, I know everybody else has heard me say this enough times, for your first piece of night vision, and I don't care what your budget is. I don't care if you can afford quads right now, fusions with thermal. I don't care what your budget is. Your first nod that you buy needs to be a PVS 14. Get the best tube that you can afford. If you can only afford a Gen 2 tube, get a Gen 2. If you can afford Gen 2 Plus, get Gen 2 Plus. If you can afford Gen 3, get Gen 3. All right. As far as ghost white phosphor or green phosphor, it does not matter. Really doesn't. It's whatever your personal preference is. But the reason why I'm going to push you towards a PVS 14 is it has got 10,000 more uses. You can keep it in your carry-on bag when you're on an airplane. It is in my go bag. I bring it out just driving down the road. You can have it over one eye driving. A thermal can't see through the windshield. The glass in the windshield reflects the heat back. All you're going to see is a guy standing in front of your vehicle, and when you wave at him, he waves back because you're looking at yourself. All right. The monocular, even when I go bow hunting, I go early in the morning, I hang that PVS 14 around my neck. And while I'm walking my stand, like, what is that on the trail? Can't figure, what is that? I'll bring that PVS 14 up, and there's a skunk standing on the trail going, what is that? It looks like he's holding a bow. Is that a dude? Man, he's got a ghillie suit on. What's he doing? See what I'm getting at? It comes in very, very handy. They're small. You can mount a PVS-14 on a gun. You put it behind your reflex sight, your red dot optic, your EOTech. You now have a gun that can shoot in the dark, especially if you've got the IR setting on that EOTech. There's just so many good uses for a PVS-14. Again, but no matter what type you go with, get the best tube that you can afford. Good question. Wow, guys. I really started going downhill about 3 hours ago, and I'm like, if you've ever had COVID, you got that scratch. You know, it's like right here, right now. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love my COVID. I love it. Kobe Dixon, one of my patrons. Good evening, Carl. I wish you and your family a speedy recovery. I just got over the coof as well, and nutrient survival helped. My question is, do you still recommend White Label Armory for parts? Yes, actually I do recommend White Label Armory. Here's why. They are a big CNC company. So in other words, they make the parts for a lot of the major gun companies out there, a lot of the big name gun companies. So what White Label Armory did was they're like, they're making a killing off of our parts. I mean, literally, we're making charging handles for them. We're making this for them. We're making that for them. They are marking them up through the roof, making a killing. We charge them 35 cents for that. They're selling it for $25. There's something wrong here. So what White Label Armory did, and I'm not associated with them anymore. I'm not. But what they did was they came out with their own line of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to them in probably a year, but I'm on my way to SHOT Show here in a couple of weeks. I will seek out White Label Armory and see what's new and improved with White Label Armory. But yeah, they were good people back in the day. Unless their company's gone to hell in a handbasket, I don't see them changing. Companies like that don't lower their quality control. What happens is companies get bought out. And for example, AAC, Advanced Armament Company, they made some of the best suppressors on the planet, actually beat Surefire out for a U.S. SOCOM contract. They got bought out by Cerberus, and Freedom Group consolidated all their companies down in Huntsville, Alabama. A lot of the good employees, engineers, and everything didn't want to move their families down there, so they ended up leaving the company. So the only reason why I'm saying, I'm not bashing AAC at all, but their quality control took a big hit. I'm not saying it's not back up. I'm using them as an example, right? When corporate America or a big company has a new owner, you've got to, I'll tell you to shy away from them until they've re-earned their name, their reputation. All right. So, but yeah, I haven't heard anything like that happening with White Label Armory. Jordan Telting threw down 5 bones. Hey, Carl, can you give some advice about how to get a more level scope mount so the reticle is not canted? Thanks. A more level scope mount. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. All right, now, all right. I'm going to take a scope mount. This is an example of a cantilever scope mount. All right, now, and there's all different kinds, double rings, triple rings. I've seen triple rings. This is a single piece scope mount that actually has 2 rings right here. Now, what I assume you mean is level like this. All right. Now, if that's what you're talking about, I'll come back to that in a second. If you're talking about level like this, in other words, parallel with the top of the gun, you need to check when you purchase, because some scope rails, they are actually built to not be level. They're built to be elevated in the back. And that's called having cant built into the scope. And the reason why you would do that is a long range scope. instead of you dialing your knob and running out of adjustment to shoot that 1,500 meter target, you buy a scope mount that already has 20 minutes of angle built into it. Then you can take 20 minutes of angle off of this, and now you've got enough room. But that's mostly on long-range guns. Now, if you're talking cant like this, number one, have the gun stable as possible. Put a level on the gun. A level actually on the gun. All guns have a level spot on them, not always the same places. I don't like you sitting the level on a rail, like a 1913 rail, but there is a level spot on the gun somewhere. All of your scopes have a level spot on them. If nowhere else, the bottom of this scope right here, this spot is level on scopes. But a lot of times this top cap right here is level enough also. The best way though, honestly, the best way, level the gun and get out in front of the gun 50, 100 meters. In other words, you're looking through a window. Hang a plumb bob. Hang a string, a big fat red string. You know those chalk lines that people use on for marking like sheets of plywood and stuff? That's what I use. I hang it from the building, and it's guaranteed to be perpendicular to level, and then leave your scope mounts loose and make sure the gun is level, and then cant the scope left and right so that the crosshair, that vertical crosshair, is lined up with that plumb bob hanging out there, or put your level right here on top of the gun. You go to Brownells, places like that. You go to their gunsmithing section, and they sell little levels for leveling a gun. All right, you can use torpedo levels you get from your local Ace Hardware and Lowe's for carpentry. They all have a flat spot on them, and they work just as well. It's a float level, guys. All right, now where people screw this up is not leveling the gun. They level it, they check it, and then they go, all right, it's good to go, and they immediately tighten down all 8 screws. And then when they look through the gun, it's canted. It's canted because as soon as you started tightening those screws, and this one's got only 2 on each side. Let me find you another scope mount with different rings. Here's one right here. All right. Guys start tightening down these 2 screws and those 2 screws and those 2 screws and these 2 screws. And if you don't tighten them, you need to make like a random order and tighten them all to like 5 foot-pounds. All right, you look it up because the actual screws are different by manufacturer. Warren scope rings are different than other scope rings, Aero Precision, stuff like that. But let's say you've got some tough scope rings that are supposed to be torqued to 40 inch-pounds, okay? Torque them all with a torque wrench to 5 inch-pounds. Just, in other words, they're barely touching. And then check, make sure your scope's level. All right, and I do crisscrosses. This one, then that one, then that one, then that one, then this one, then this one, then that one, then that one. And then I keep going around, all right? But keep double checking that it's level, all right? And if you don't do that, you're going to tighten them down. And what you're doing is it's tightening, but it's giving on one side, and the other side's not moving at all. And you're going to end up twisting that scope. And that's why it's canting on you. Actually, well, or at least that's what I think you're talking about. So I hope I straighten that. It's not necessarily, it's the scope rings. You buying scope rings, they're not unlevel. They're just not. It's you, the guy that's doing it, that needs to take his time and put a little more love into the process. I actually have a great video showing how I mount this scope on my Accuracy International AXMC. It's actually called How to Mount a Scope. And you can find it in our video archive. I want to say that video's 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. Hell, it might be older than that now. Wow. Guys, I'm going downhill fast. That's crazy. It never bothered me that quick like that. All right. Next question from Semper Paratus. Is it a foolish idea to get a 30 cal suppressor as your first and possibly only one if it will mainly be on a 223 rifle for now? No, not at all. I have one suppressor, and I've got I got two 338 suppressors. I got a 45 one. Seven, maybe eight. Anyway, I got tax stamps. They're legal. I don't care. The suppressor that I use almost all the time, literally, the suppressor I use all the time is a 308 AAC suppressor. And that way, if I put it on my 12.5-inch AR-10, it's good to go. If I pull it off and I put it on my 10.5-inch LaRue 5.56, it's good to go. If I take that upper off and I put my 300 Blackout upper on, because they're both short-barreled rifles, I only have one short-barrel rifle lower tax stamp. It's legal. All right. I can put that suppressor on there, and 300 Blackout is 30 cal. So your first suppressor, unless you specifically want to use it on pistols and pistol caliber carbines, but your first rifle one, honest, I would go with a 30 caliber one so that you can use it. So you can use it 300 Blackout. You can use it 7.62 by 51. You can use it on AK 7.62 by 39. You can use it on 5.56. You can use it on 6.8. Because you saying I'm mostly going to use it on 5.56. That's right now. When Biden makes all military calibers illegal, and all of a sudden the new hotness is 6.8. Because the military never adopted it, except for Canada and the Saudis, then 6.8 may be the new hotness. Things like that. You gotta plan ahead. So, anyways, great question. I got another one here. Thank you, Susan, for sending them. This one's from Mike. Think about buying my first home next year. Any general thoughts on home security and what to prioritize? Home security, what to prioritize. Try to have land. All right. And what I mean by that is because a lot of people live on zero lot houses. Understand, you might as well live in an apartment. All right. Except you've got something you have to mow in the front. All right. If you can have 1 acre, that gives you shotgun range around your house. If you could have 3 or 4 acres now, as you plant trees and bushes and shrubs and everything else, you can look at your property with the ability to watch and have a killing field all the way around it. And I don't mean to actually kill people. I pray you never have to draw down on another American, but it gives you advanced early warning. It would always be better to keep a perpetrator outside your home. But after that, look at, and if you're going to build your own house, then by all means, you really should look at security, having a window that overlooks the side of your door. So as they're knocking on your front door, you've got a window, so you've got the drop on the guy, little things like that. But if you're buying a house, understand, if it's got security in mind when they built it, cool. Most do not build it. They build it for aesthetics and convenience and for cost. But you can always add to it. For example, the front door of your house, when you go to buy it, might have a big oval piece of glass that looks beautiful, so you can see who's out at your front door. That's great. But no matter how many deadbolts you put on that door, all they got to do is smash that piece of glass, step through, and now they're in your house. You understand that's a low security door. You can, and even if you live in a low security neighborhood, understand that can change in 6 hours, and you don't have time in 6 hours to up the security of your house. So whatever house you buy, understand you can always improve the security on it. All right. Barricades and ways to slow the bad guys down, one. All right, a good safe room, good home defense plan. But then early warning, some of the best early warning you can have starts with a canine, a dog. For all you cat lovers out there, one, they belong in a wood chipper. Two, a cat has never woke you up in the dark and say, hey, there's a prowler breaking into the basement. It's never happened. The cat be like, pff, 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 pff. Cat don't give a shit. Get a dog, all right, a loud dog. It doesn't have to be a big dog. Small dogs yipe and wake you up. Electronic security systems. I'm not going to get into what I have in my house, but they even make, and I have them, glass sensors. So if somebody shatters the glass, and you've seen them in big apartment stores, all those high-tech security things they have on big high-rises and everything, you can get them for your home. You can. Understand security cameras are fine if you have somebody monitoring them. But other than that, home security cameras are basically for filing charges against somebody after the fact. You know, you're away on vacation, they break into your home, they steal all your stuff. At least your family's safe. You can pull that videotape off the cloud, and because you know they're going to pull the hard drive. That's what I would do. It doesn't matter. It's backed up on the cloud. All right. The only good use for the cloud, guys. Seriously. But after that, you can go back and say, all right, hey, I know who these numbnuts are. You let law enforcement know, and maybe you'll get some of your stuff back. Probably not. But layer your defense, guys. You start looking at a house, understand it. Your better half is going to be looking for convenience and everything being pretty and everything. Don't argue with her. But at the same time, you know, just think, well, okay, this front door is zero security. It's got a deadbolt that's that long, and it is completely glass. That's not going to stop anybody from coming in. That doesn't make it a deal breaker. It just means you've got to buy a new door. No big deal. All right. Not the end of the world. Good stuff. If you need to cut early to rest, let me know, and I'll tell people the whole questions for next week. Honest, guys, I'm going to tough through. I'm going to try to go as long as I can. And I appreciate you guys' concern for my health. But the way I look at it is the more wore out you guys get me, the quicker I'll be able to fall asleep. All right. Buying my first home. We just did that one. Rob, Susan asked Carl, what if we can't see? We're colorblind. Can I still use a PVS 14? Yeah, honest, because a PVS 14 is black or white. It is. Ghost white phosphor PVS 14s are, it's like watching black and white TV. This was actually filmed, it was actually filmed with an iPhone mount on the back of a PVS 14. It was actually an Armacite PVS 14. I know it's shades of green. For my guys that are colorblind, it might as well be shades of purple. It doesn't matter. But think of it as it might as well be shades of gray. So this is green phosphor, and whether you're colorblind or not, doesn't matter if you can see that as green. Guys, this is printed bad. I know it, but can you guys see the bipod? All right. Can you see the little ear, the bone conduction mic coming down on his temple? Looks like his, right? You can see the holster on his belt. You can see, right? You can see all this stuff. That's Marcus Foster laying right there. Marcus is dead. Marcus is good people. That's actually a good photo of mine. So yeah, excellent question. Does not matter if you're colorblind, guys. It really does not matter. I miss Marcus. Man, I do. I miss Marcus. Marcus was good people. Marcus was good people, guys. Marcus finally got his tree planted at the 5th Special Forces Group Memorial Field. You know, when I first got the 5th group, there was 1.5 rows of trees on the left side of the parade field. And it was with Green Berets that had been killed since 5th Group had moved to Fort Campbell. And a lot of them were from a Halo team that did a training jump and into the mountains, and the altimeters were set wrong, and they ended up all just crushing into the planet. Training accidents. Training accidents happen. You go to 5th Group now, guys, and Gabriel Field is the name of the field, and you go to Gabriel Field, guys, it's a freaking forest. I mean, it's a forest. And, all the SEALs, they get out, they write their books and everything. That's cool. And I'm not bashing the SEALs at all, but understand they do 3, 4, 5 years on a SEAL team, and then they get out and they're, I was a SEAL. They're a SEAL the rest of their life, okay? But most of your Green Berets, I did 25 years, but most of them stay and do 20 years. And you understand, every deployment, you're rolling the dice. And you can only lose for so long in Vegas before eventually you're going to hit. You got to... So, yeah, it sucks. I'm glad Marcus finally got his tree. I really am. All right. Next question. Cash Me Outside. Oh, hold on, let me see if I did that one already. Yep. Cash Me Outside. Carl, what brand of spiral cut ham do you prefer and why? What glaze flavoring, if any? Honest, it doesn't matter to me. I couldn't tell you the brand. I buy it at Sam's Club or Walmart or the local store. Guys, I'm not and I know you guys think I'm worldly, and you think I am rich, and I call you drive a Denali, and you've got this great Jeep. I won the Jeep in a shooting competition, and the Denali my father-in-law gave me. My other one had like 260,000 miles on it. I'm worldly, but I've been to 41 countries. You understand, I ate MREs in most of them. All right. I like a tomahawk steak, but I like a hamburger too. Take what I can get. I can take a good cut of meat and I can cook it. I can take crappy meat and I can cook it and make it good. I can take crappy meat and it still be crappy. I try to do the best I can. Funny question, but honest, I don't have a preference on spiral cut hams. I didn't even think that was a question. Are there good spiral cut hams out there? I guess they are. I've never had a bad one. I've never had a bad spiral cut ham. I mean, unless the guy burns it. But follow the directions. It's like getting a butterball turkey. The butterball turkey I fry turkeys in the fryer. Out at the shed. They'll do one turkey in the oven, and I'll usually do one, maybe two, maybe three turkeys in the deep fryer out at the shed. And they're always good. And it doesn't matter what brand it is. It's always good unless you've drank too much medicine and you overcook it. It's easy to burn a turkey. That's going to make me feel better right there. Big Fezzig. Do you have to worry about my AK sights being level, or is it okay to just hammer them back into place after I drop it? Here's the deal, guys. You've all heard the phrase Kentucky windage, right? Everybody's heard the phrase. But if you go back and look at where that phrase comes from, back in the day, they did have very, very rudimentary sights on some of your original, you had muskets, but then you also got into rifles with actual rifled barrels. All right, some of them were hexagon. Some had lands and grooves. Most of them did not. All right, some of them were actually hammered to have a hexagon rifling in them. But the term Kentucky windage basically came from a lot of the Kentucky marksmen. They didn't necessarily, they would try hammering those sights, but those guns were so beat up and bent, but they were accurate guns that were just passed down forever, and they were beat to snot. They had a lot of miles on them. These guys were making a living with it. And no matter how bad and bent the gun was, it still shot accurately because that precision rifle, even though bent, the marksman, the Kentucky marksman, knew that, hey, this gun always shoots at 2 o'clock. So I always need to aim at 8 o'clock. Kentucky windage. If you know it shoots to the left, you aim to the right. And that's going to make the bullet curve and hit where it needs to go. So when you hammer on your AK, and I encourage all you guys with AKs to hammer on them, try to hammer things level. I've had rear sights on my Glocks because I usually throw my Glock on the gravel every class because I'm wearing my optics out. I'm beating on my optics. You guys think I'm joking. You should see some of my optics. This one hasn't been beat that bad. This one right here, you see how bad, see how broken that that window is right there, that solar panel? This optic still works, guys. I mean, it's still got the Vulcan reticle in it. Yeah, let me turn it so you guys can see it. Can you guys see it? Almost right there. It still works. And the only reason why it's here is I took this one off the gun to put a enclosed 509 on. But I literally beat the snot out of my guns. My rear sight was so bent off to the side that I even banging on it, I couldn't get it to go by. I had to get an actual sight tool to move it back over. So yeah, hammer your stuff. It's not going to hurt it. Not going to hurt it. Understand it may not be pretty. What's this? Crowd has gone wild for a Cooking with Carl video in the future. Cooking with Carl video. You know, we could do a whole series of Cooking with Carl. Yeah, honest, I got to bust out the Big Al. Big Al Crawford. I can cook a hamburger. No, Big Al, he massages that meat. I mean, he gets sensual with it. I won't say sexual, but he gets sensual with it. He works all the spices and everything into it. And yeah, we could do it. It's possible. I'm not ruling it out. All right. I'm not going to rule it out. All right. All right. Next question. Full spectrum dominance. Survival of the wisest. Are most gunshots survivable if you have the right medical supplies? Yes and no. All right. If in the military, understand when you're pieing around corners shooting, most of your hits on the battlefield are above the waist. All right. So a lot of them are arm shots or head shots, but a lot of the head is protected by a helmet, or they're on the actual body armor. Explosions, things like that, IEDs, the legs and the pelvic girdle stick out a lot. So in the military, a lot of our injuries are extremities or the pelvic girdle, and those are not survivable in the pelvic girdle. The head wounds are not survivable. If it goes through the helmet, the guy's just not going to survive. But that's because they're wearing good level 4 body armor and side plates, right? Now, but for a civilian casualty, if you're not wearing body armor, understand that your arms and your legs are not going to get hit as often as your torso or your face is, because people aim at the gun and that's where your face is. So honestly, any bullet, and everybody goes, well, you know, if it's a chest shot, you just slap a chest seal on it. Understand, yes, that is the treatment to keep that lung from collapsing more, but you basically better do it right away or you're wasting your time, one. And that just keeps the lung from collapsing. Every bit of that lung is fed by veins and arteries, all right? And then you've got the heart in the middle, a subclavian neurovascular bundle that runs outwards from the top of the heart. You got the aortic arch that runs off the top. You've got your carotid arteries, jugular veins coming down, descending vena cava. This area, guys, there is so much major plumbing there. Now, the reason why they don't teach you to treat for it when you're doing your basic stop the bleed classes is because the reality is you can't. Shy of you cracking ribs and opening the guy's chest, you as a layman medic or even a paramedic, you do not have the training, the skills, the knowledge of anatomy, or the tools available to properly treat that. You just don't. All right, so people that think, well, if the guy gets shot up here, all I got to do is put a chest seal. Honest, if you don't put a chest seal on it, you're not, the lung is going to collapse. But that's not the worst problem the guy has. It's the bleeding on the inside. You get below the diaphragm, you've got all the plumbing down there, right? Your small intestine, large intestine, stomach, right? Yeah, okay, but understand every foot of that intestine has got your mesenteric artery that follows it. If you've got an artery, you've got veins, but then you've also got your spleen, very, very vascular, solid organ. A bullet passes through, especially a rifle bullet. Secondary cavitation completely destroys that organ. Liver, you'll lose a whole lobe of the liver with a rifle round going through it. Kidneys do not respond well to gunfire at all. They just don't. There's just so the military has the advantage of wearing body armor. Guys, your best bet, avoid a gunfight. Don't get in a gunfight, guys. Don't beat them in court, but don't get in a gunfight with them. Don't do it. I pray you guys never have to draw down on another person. I really don't. Wow, my head is just killing me. Paul American, question. If you had to have one person you work with to go into battle with you as a two-man team, who would it be? If you can say his name and why. Honest, I would, don't get me wrong, you guys know I love Randy, I love everybody else. I would pick Emery. Couple of reasons. One, Emery is still young, he's in shape. Emery's tough. But two, Emery is my assistant instructor for a lot of our tactical classes. So small unit tactics outside the building, one-man CQB inside the building, team close quarters battle inside the building, things like that, explosive breaching, mechanical breaching, all that stuff. These classes, personal security courses, night shooting, high-risk travel. These are all classes that I teach with Emery. And Z Durham, I love Z Durham, and Z Durham, he would be my pick. But Z Durham's grown. I'm so proud of Z because Z took Tactical Rifleman and made a name for himself. And now instead of being my assistant instructor, Z's like, man, I'm doing classes on my own. It's doing good. I'm helping my wife with her business. I'm going to take time off from Tactical. Z, don't apologize, dude. I'm proud of you. I am very proud of Z. Z's awesome. I encourage all you guys to take Z's classes. I do. But right now, today, and our plan for the Hill is to bring certain families, certain people to the Hill. Emery's one of those people that's been invited to the Hill. And that's a very short list, by the way. Very short list. But yeah, if I could pick one guy to go to combat with me right now, with the current level of training we've done together because you gotta, it's not just who has the most knowledge or who's the best shot or who's in the best shape. Nah, it's a two-man team that is trained together is always going to be better than two NBA stars that work independently and have never worked together. That's just the truth. Got this cool headache going on. Yeah, guys, I 100% have COVID. I'm glad my daughter left, which means she's now going to be in Nashville at her hospital with COVID. John Massey, does 5th Group still have a Gabriel detachment? And honest, John, I've never even heard that term before. Gabriel Field is still there. I don't know what a Gabriel detachment is. So I'm going to say no. Next question is from Annalise and Kyle. 15 Bones. Any updates on the young lady who you recently posted a GoFundMe link about? Horrible circumstance. Hope she's able to get the care she needs. Guys, if you're not familiar with who Kyle's talking about, and donate, if you guys could open up my Instagram and pull that GoFundMe out and plug it in the chat room, that would be awesome. Chad Mormon, you guys know Chad Mormon. He's one of our instructors. He's done a lot of tactical rifleman videos. Chad is the gray man. Chad is the guy that all the acronyms up in Virginia, when they need to learn the dark arts, learn how to be invisible, dirty fighting, any of that stuff, they call Chad Mormon. Chad Mormon's awesome. I'm very proud to call Chad Mormon a personal friend, but also proud to call him part of our tactical rifleman team. All right. Thank you, Susan. You're awesome. She just put it in. If you guys are familiar. So anyways, Chad reached out to me, and this was a little bit before Christmas, and said, my niece in North Carolina just it was like ran over or something crazy. But anyway, she's got like, if you understand, if you don't have medical insurance and you need something major done, those bills pile quickly. She's got like $150,000 in medical bills, and the family's crushed. They're like, one, we don't care. We just want her back. We want her to make it through. We want our baby back, and I support them 100. I keep their whole family in our prayers. Me and my wife, as soon as I got it, let it be. My wife's like, we're one of the first donors. We donated right away. But Chad asked me if I could share it with you guys, and so it's the holidays, and I understand everybody's asking for money. I got that, so I waited, and I put it up on Instagram. It automatically goes to Facebook, I think. And immediately got bashed, like, you're as bad as the Salvation Army, playing on our heartstrings, trying to get money. I'm like, man, that is so easy to say when it's not your daughter that's laying there. So if I offend people by asking you to give, honest guys, ignore it. It's a post. It was a post on, just swipe up and let it go away, and you can go back to your life. But I'm here to tell you that, and I haven't gotten an update from Chad yet. Chad's a very quiet guy. If he asks for something, you understand, Chad, before he asked me to help out his wife who needed kidney surgery, he first sold his Jeep, his car, all his guns, before he asked me for help. Yeah, that's the kind of guy Chad is. All right. So for Chad to ask me to help him out. So anyways, if you guys could help out the GoFundMe for that poor girl, that's fine. But you see everybody bitching at the holidays. Like I'm bitching because I got a piece of coal. Guys, that's a cool piece of coal. I don't need nothing. I don't need new guns. I don't need ammo. I thank you for the EOTech. I don't need anything. And I'll take a piece of coal every day if I could keep my family and all you guys healthy. And no matter how bad you think you have it, or how shitty of a day you're having, I'm here to tell you, COVID ain't getting me down. It's not, because I know I'll get over it. I worry about Helen, my Aunt Helen, and David across the street. David just had surgery. He's already had open heart surgery. He's COPD. He's very immune suppressed already. I worry about them. I don't worry about me. I don't. So if you guys can help out Chad's niece, I'd ask you all to do it. I really would. I love you guys to be my patrons. I would love for every one of you guys to sign up to be my patrons. But if it was a choice between you being a $5 patron for 12 months and getting free videos and stuff on Patreon, or you giving that girl $60 to put towards her medical bills, brother, she needs it. She needs it. I just want it. All right, she needs it. So anyways, Kyle, I appreciate you asking. You and Annalise, thank you for your concern. I will hit up Chad tomorrow and let him know that you guys are all asking about her. I pray she's doing better. Andrew George is back with $20 more. I see that non-functioning AK behind you. Let's say you wanted to buy a non-AR 5.56 rifle. What are you choosing? Galil, Tavor, Bren, Bullpup, or traditional? I had the Rona 3 times. Hope you and yours feels better soon. This is my 3rd time getting the vid. If I could have a non-AR, actually, I would probably go with a, well, let me show you. This one right here, guys, is made by Robinson Arms. And everybody remembers when the Scar came out, right? The Scar was, everybody's like, well, you know, everybody's copying the Scar. No, actually, if you ask people, they're like, the Scar is actually a copy of the Bushmaster ACR. I have a Bushmaster ACR. I don't like it. I don't like the Scar. I can't stand the Scar. Doesn't matter. The Bushmaster and the FN Scar is a copy of the ACR. The ACR is a copy of the XCR made by Robinson Arms. They're Alex and his, I think it was his father, Robinson Arms, they wanted to make a new gun, and they wanted it side folding, piston. Remember that the whole SIG MCX wasn't out then. And be able to change calibers, everything. At 6.8 and 300 blackout both run awesome in that gun with regular magazines. You don't have to change the mags like you do an AR if you switch to 6.8. Why? Because they canted the magazine well just a couple of degrees. Why? Because they said it just seemed to flow better that way. And there's so many great innovations on that XCR. So I want to give them a big shout out. I owe you guys a video on it. And the holdup was I wanted to be able to do the interview with Alec from Robinson Arms, get him on video saying how that whole Scar competition went and how they got ripped off bad because they didn't show up with a blank adapter. It was so rigged. Anyways, don't get me started. That said, the whole reason for not going to a bullpup, because a bullpup is better. The whole reason for not going to a bullpup is because you would have to change manual of arms. Right now, our manual of arms, you run out of ammo, drop that mag, grab that next one, put it back in, hit that bolt release, you're back in the fight. Next mag, drop the mag back in, hit the bolt release, I'm ready, I'm back in the fight. My muscle memory is right there. To change during wartime to a bullpup, I would have screwed up everybody's muscle memory. So I didn't want them to do it during the global war on terror. But remember, I came in the Army back in actually 1985. That's how old I am. We were a peacetime Army. At the time, they had just come out with the Steyr AUG. This thing was state of the art, super lightweight, polymer, bullpup, had an optic. Nobody had optics back then. And ambidextrous, you could swap things. It was a badass gun called the Steyr AUG. I was so wanting them to switch to that gun back in the day. Fast forward, the StyAug, 1980s technology. It's a little dated now. There are updated versions of it that are still awesome. I wish I owned one. I don't. You got the Tavor, which is okay. It's a good bullpup, but my whole reason for not doing it, well, because we have been a country at war since the towers have fallen. Right now, we're not. We are a peacetime army, which means our quality control of our military is being flushed down the toilet by politicians that are pushing their libtard agenda. And now you got to have rainbow flags up in the team rooms instead of pinup girls and stuff like that. I don't make the rules, guys. That's what politicians do. It happens, and don't get mad because it happens as much as everybody's bitching now. You look after World War I, quality control of the army went down. You look after World War II, quality control of the army went down. After the Korean War, quality went down. After Vietnam, it went down. All right, that's just part of it. When we get that next conflict, we always get a punch to the face, and then America military improves so much. We do. That's how we get better. Unfortunately, it's politicians. It is what it is. So if I could have one new gun right now, non-AR, honest, I don't know. I think I'd go with something as close to an AR as possible. I mean, if you look at that Robinson Arms gun, it looked that you guys all thought that was an AR until I told you it wasn't. I'm not an AK guy. The AK, again, a dated design. I'm just not an AK guy. I like the Tavor. I wanted the Desert Tech to be I wanted it to be a success. The Desert Tech is just not a success. It's got too many problems. I would take a Tavor over it all day long. And yeah, honest, I'd probably say like a SIG MCX. Probably a SIG MCX or that Adams Arms, not Adams Arms, ACR from, it's not Adams Arms, it's Alex Arms. Alex Arms? Yeah. Alex Arms. Robinson Arms. I'm sorry, Robinson Arms. If I said Adams Arms, I was wrong. It's Robinson Arms. It's Alex Robinson. Robinson Arms XCR. Yeah, shit. I'm going to have to get rid of that stock on that because that is a brace. All this bullshit y'all are doing with these braces and stuff. Politicians. All right. He goes on, I hope you are feeling better soon. Me too, guys. Me too. I know you. Have you guys noticed? I am more. If you know, I know you can see the red in my face. I am, because it just hit me a couple hours ago. I got the word that my neighbors both had it. Denny and Addie, and then the day prior, Helen and them had it. My wife's like, oh my God, I'm running a fever. And I'm like, oh, I got the vid again. This is so cool. Sorry, I'm taking my medicine. Got to be able to sleep. All right, guys. One thing, because I don't have any more questions from Susan real quick. So there were a couple of things that I wanted to go over. This Friday coming up is the last Friday of the, I told you we're putting out a video tomorrow. That is not our weekly video. But I didn't have a video scheduled for the end of the year, for Friday. So what me and my son did was we said, you know, let's do a recap. It's a cool thing. Everybody on Instagram and everybody are doing these recap, all the pictures of all the stuff they've done. And all right, you know, why not? So I didn't realize how much, because this has been a bad year for me. I've had COVID twice, once the year prior. And And my wife's been mad at me for most of the year because I've worked too hard. Haven't spent enough time with her. So she's been mad at me most of the year. I'm going to do better in 2023 to keep my wife happy, and because honestly, I want to spend more time with her, because I'm her biggest fan, right? But this has been it has not been a great year. Don't get me wrong. I had a great November with my patrons, but that was a lot of work. I didn't shoot any deer in deer season. But I had a very busy year. So anyway, me and my son, we filmed a recap video. My son might get it ready by Friday noon, maybe. That's the plan. But I didn't realize how much we had squeezed in. We squeezed in a lot. Guys, I had videos with John Stryker Myers and Rick Lamb talking about Mac v. SOG stuff. I had Randy talking about this. We did the hot sauce video with Emery. I had Jason Phelan tase Emery. I went and did my overland trip to Rubicon Trail in Moab. I went parachuting with my son in the spring. I then went parachuting with my son in the fall. And busy. So anyways, that video comes out Friday. It'll get demonetized, I'm sure. I don't know why, but it'll get demonetized. So it won't get promoted to anybody, but I'm going to ask you guys a favor. If you get the bell ding and you see the video Friday, I ask that you guys share it. If all of you, because you understand YouTube is not promoting our videos anymore. They don't go to people's playlists, and don't hate the player, hate the game. It's their channel. They can do what they want. If you guys will share the video, it's going to be a good video. It is. It's going to be a good video. I hope you guys enjoy it. That's Friday video. I leave a few days later in January. Me and Emery, we're driving all the way out to Arizona. We're going to leave here on the 7th. And we got so much stuff to get done between now and then. I've got like 20 ballistic gel blocks. I've got to cut all the crap out of, all the bullet fragments, and then melt it all down and make new gel blocks. Got to get all that done, package ammo, guns, everything. But we are driving all the way out to Arizona. We're going to film for a few days. We got a bunch of great TR videos for 2023 that are on our list. Minigun, all kinds of sexy stuff. New 50 cal, chain gun. We're trying to get a drone with a 50 cal on it. And just give you an idea of some of the videos. That one's kind of iffy. Good stuff, though, good stuff. From there, my son's going to fly out to Arizona, meet us. We're going to film. The film crew's flying in from New York City. We're going to film. When they're done, the film crew flies back out of Phoenix, but my son is going to stay with us, and we're going to drive to Vegas for SHOT Show. SHOT Show, we're going to do range day. We're going to film a bunch out there, and then we're going to film the 4 days of SHOT Show. And then my son flies home, and me and Emery then drive home from Vegas. It's going to be a couple days drive either direction, long. That's the whole month of January, guys. So who's back posting videos? Who's going to post videos for you guys? I don't really have anybody to do it. So, and I have a stack of videos that I was saving them for rainy days. I could put them up. But we thought about it, and I was like, there's actually a lot of videos that I liked that we did our first year. You understand, we've been doing this YouTube channel for 7 years now. All right. Back our first year, I thought it was a big deal at our 1 year mark. We hit 25,000 subscribers. I thought that was awesome. That was a big deal to me. We've got over 700,000 now. But a lot of the videos that I had a list. I'm like, if I ever do a YouTube channel, these are the things I want to tell people about. So that first year, and we put out 52 videos. one every Friday. You understand, we have not missed a Friday, not a single Friday in 7 years. We haven't missed a single Friday, not one. So there's been a couple videos I was like, that video we did sucked because it was like a guy from T1G, another instructor or something. So I redid it. And I've done that a couple of times, but there's a bunch of videos that first year that I liked. They're okay. Some of them are only 3-5 minutes long because we did short videos back then. We thought that's what people liked. Now some of our videos are 2 hours long, like this one. So for the month of January, what we're going to do is I've taken 9 of those videos, not just ones I liked, ones that I actually let the film crew pick them out. And basically we're going to do 2 a week on I think it's Wednesdays and Fridays. 2 a week. We are going to retitle them and everything, but we're going to give you, so if you've never watched our original videos that first year, we're going to grab some of our good content that we really liked back in the day. And we're going to give you guys those videos. They'll have the new logos and all that stuff. And so anyways, I hope you guys enjoy them. I'll be honest with you, I did. I watched them today. And I was a lot younger then. Wow. 7 years ago. But there was one I was watching. It's me and Chad Mormon doing how to survive a rollover of a vehicle. If you're ever in a vehicle as it rolls over, there's certain things you should do. These videos are all educational, and they're not jackassery. They're not product reviews. One of them is where to hide behind a vehicle. There's actually 2 videos like that, showing how bullets skip under a vehicle and how you hide behind the engine, hide behind the wheel hubs. There's another one about how bullets skip off of vehicle hoods and metal and stuff. If you guys have taken our pistol carbine classes, I talk about it there when we're doing barricades and stuff. But we actually did a video about it our very first year. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the whole month of January. There's going to be 2 videos a week instead of 1. And they are good content. For some of you that have been with us for 7 years, you'll be like, oh, I already saw that one. No, you're not. You're going to be like, wow, I already saw that one, but I forgot how awesome it was. That's what you're going to do. But honestly, I invite all of you guys, please, please, please share them. And it's going to be funny as hell. It really is. My head. Oh, my God. All right. Where'd I leave off? Already did that one. Who would it be? Already did that one. Already did that one. Already did that one. John A. How does security get affected when everyone gets sick at the same time, especially with the vid? Has this ever happened downrange when everyone got sick? How would you fix security issue? That's why you guys heard about the Navy captain that went public when his whole ship came down with COVID. It was like 40% of his ship had COVID, completely overwhelmed. They were combat ineffective. He went public with it because the people in the Navy above him were not listening to him, and he got fried for it. One, you don't go public stuff like that, so you should get fried. But 2, and understand, he's a ship commander, so he knows that. So 2, it was obviously laid on his heart that it was important enough to flush his career down the toilet. Now, that's not a lieutenant or a corporal flushing their career down the toilet. That's a commander of a naval vessel saying, the health of my sailors is important enough for me to flush my career down the toilet to let the world know. All right. For all these people that say the military should not have to get the COVID vaccine, and I know I'm going to hurt your feelings here. Okay, I'm going to hurt your feelings because I don't get me wrong. I am unvaccinated for COVID. I'm not. They're experimental drugs, and I'm not going to die from COVID. This is my third time having it. I hope I don't die from it. I'm unvaccinated, so understand I am on your side. All right, but I have had 13 anthrax shots. In the military, I got my flu shot every year. I have had rabies vaccines and typhoid and yellow fever and smallpox and this pox and that pox. I've had them all. My shot record was not just full. They had to get me another one, and it's almost full. Now, that's the international multi-page yellow shot records that people have for their whole life. They keep with their passport when they go to Africa, and you get like 10 lines filled if you're 60. Mine's completely filled, and the second one is half full, okay? I'm a big supporter of vaccinations. Not for COVID, for you as a civilian. You want to get it, that's fine. It's up to you. Fine, especially if you're high risk, get it. But to force the population to get it, I disagree with that. I'm on your side. Now, for the military, though, nada. They have to get vaccinations. They have to. Because exactly what you're talking about. What about if a unit was to 100% get knocked down with the flu at the same time? That unit is combat ineffective. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if a unit takes 20% casualties, that's 2 out of 10 soldiers, is sick or wounded, that unit is combat ineffective. That's just the truth. All right. Combat ineffective. I have seen units be combat ineffective because they caught the flu. And that would suck in a combat zone because now the other units are having to play catch up to take care of them. Now picture a cache. You guys would call, if you've seen the old TV show MASH, that was Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. The modern ones are called a cache, Combat Army Surgical Hospital. Imagine a Combat Army Surgical Hospital that is combat ineffective, completely, like they can't do their job in a combat zone, and there's all of a sudden a big attack coming in, and there's lots of casualties being flown in, and now all the casualties are just sitting there. I have seen units shut down because of food poisoning in the chow hall. Happened in Desert Shield. Desert Shield, that's not Desert Storm. Desert Storm, which Desert Shield was 6 months long, the buildup before we went into Iraq. Fortunately, that's when it happened. It happened over Thanksgiving, and then it happened again to a different battalion over Christmas. All right, that unit, combat ineffective, worthless, could not do combat ops, worthless. It's important that now, the reason why it happens with the flu is when they come up with the flu shot for the following flu season, they're watching the virus, how it's spreading around the planet, because it doesn't just pop up and go away and then pop up again. That's not how the flu season works. Flu hits the US, everybody gets over it, but it spreads to the rest of the planet. And eventually it comes back to the US again. So as they're watching it, they're like, this is the strain we think is going to hit the US. And then that's the next flu season. They give everybody a flu shot that they think will work. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's just the truth. It's just the truth. So it sucks when a unit becomes combat ineffective because of a disease or because of food poisoning or anything else. In a little bit of military trivia for you, there was a Army unit, a CASH, a Combat Army Surgical Hospital in Desert Shield, that was declared combat ineffective. Fortunately, the war hadn't kicked off yet. They were combat ineffective because too many of the soldiers got pregnant. You know why? Because they had one soldier pregnant and they sent her home. So all the other females in the unit wanted to get sent home. So they all started giving that ass to all the guys to their left and right. And enough of the unit was impregnated that that unit was combat ineffective. Seriously, you can look it up. Part of military history. That's just the truth. Is it politically correct for me to bitch about that? I'm not politically correct, guys. I'm just correct. All right. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So we've had a couple more come in. Yeah, COVID sucks, guys. And it sucks. It sucks. I'm hoping that the COVID shots they're giving to our troops are modified as quickly as this thing is morphing, right? We had Delta variant and then Omicron, and I think we're on Zombiecron now, whatever it is. It doesn't matter, all right? Hopefully they're doing it. All right, the donut. Susan, tell him element fire extinguisher video. I'm still waiting. Donut. Actually, I don't have it here. I actually bought 8 regular fire extinguishers and 5 more element fire extinguishers to make that video. I've not blown you off. I'm trying to think, could I squeeze it in out there in Arizona? I don't know if I have anything to burn. You understand, if you're not familiar with what he's talking about, guys, is there, it's called an element fire extinguisher. It basically looks like a railroad flare, and that's kind of how it works. You light this thing and it sprays smoke out the end of it that will put a fire out, and sprays it like a jet. And once you light it, you can't turn it off. It's not like a fire extinguisher that you spray and as soon as you take your finger off of it, it's done spraying, because nobody keeps a half full fire extinguisher anyways. You might as well use it all up. Well, that's how this thing works. Once you light it, it goes, called the element fire extinguisher. It works better than 2 5-pound fire extinguishers, one single one. If you got a engine under the hood fire, it'll put it out. It'll put it out, guaranteed. I keep one now in my Jeep. I do. Yeah. Don't I owe you that video? I do. I owe you. Unlock the phone. New video. I'm emailing myself, don't it, right now. Element fire. All right, I'll add it back to the list. I wasn't planning on taking it. Oh. Guys, what do you say we do a giveaway? We are at, we got 20 minutes left. Let's do a giveaway at 9 o'clock. All right, so what kind of giveaway you guys want to do? By the way, it's not up to you guys. You get to get whatever I'm giving away. One of the things I'm going to give away this week is kind of cool. I got this from Joe the Knife Guy, and he sends me all these are catalogs, right, from Pro Shot. Clean bore, clean to precision. You guys don't want a catalog? I might toss it in there. I want you to see this, though. I want you to see how small that is. I know, guys, it looks big when I put it like there, but here's the iPhone. Now, look how, so it's just a little bit bigger than an iPhone. Guys, this is a cleaning kit for a 9mm and 5.56. It's made for the military. That's why it's Coyote Brown. I'll toss a catalog in there too. It's made by a company called Pro Shot. It's a Pro Shot cleaning kit. This one's actually called a ruck kit. So in other words, it's designed to be thrown in your 3-day assault pack. All right, 9mm 5.56. Coyote Brown, it's got your little bore scope. It's got all your cleaning pads. It's got a little thing of, little tube of CLP. It's got all your rods and everything in the bottom. This thing is packed, guys. Can you see in there? There's a ton of stuff in here. Let me get it. I can make sure I can get it all back in here. Anyways, I told Joe the Knife Guy I would do a giveaway. And he sends me all this cool stuff. He does. We got another giveaway we're going to do later on of these glow-in-the-dark things. They got tritium in them. They're really badass. But for today, this is the ruck kit made by ProShot cleaning kit. Guys, look how small that is. If you're running an M16A2 stock, this I'm pretty sure would fit in the stock. But as far as you dumping this in your 3-day pack, that's the smallest cleaning kit I've ever seen. That thing is small as hell. So he gave me 2. I know he says I'm supposed to keep one for myself to show people. I'll probably end up giving that one away at a later date. But for right now, I'll tell you what. We are going to do... why are you spamming me? So if you want to win the ProShot cleaning kit, this is the ruck cleaning kit. It's 9mm and 5.56. Both of them are in here. I want you to put the word Joe, Joe, in the chat room, not TR. Joe, Joe, because Joe the Knife Guy is awesome. And he works for like 12 different companies, and this is one of the companies he reps. I asked him if he could ask ProShot to get you guys a discount. So, because you understand only one guy's getting a free one tonight. We're going to draw this at 9 o'clock, by the way. You can enter a maximum of 3 times. Go, start typing. So they gave me a coupon code. It is TR2023, so 2023. TR2023 saves you 15% off of everything on their website. Everything. Guys, that's a big catalog. There's a lot of stuff in this catalog. So anyways, I'm told if you use code TR2023, it saves you 15% off of everything on the website. I don't make a dime. Full disclosure, I don't make a dime off of it. Matter of fact, I'm the guy that's got to pay postage and handling to get this to you. But I enjoy doing giveaways. One, because you guys love your free stuff. I understand. That's why some of you hang out. As soon as you're done and you see that you won or lost, you guys are all going to go home for the night. Trust me, I want to go home for the night. I do so bad. I wish you guys the best of luck. But again, if you don't win, but you want one of those ruck kits, which is badass, by the way, ProShot.com and put in code TR2023 2023, and it saves you 15%. Good stuff. Wow. All right. I saw I had a couple more come in. Senest. Can you ask Carl about cold weather training? Last week we hit negative 40 Celsius. How to prep your belt and chest rig under over warm weather clothing, rifle prep. Thank you. Wow, negative 40 Celsius. That's cold, guys. All right, first off, and we've actually got a video. If you go back through our video archive, I've got a video on cold weather training in cold weather. All you do is you let your body armor out or your chest rig out or your gun belt out so that they can go over your cold weather pants, your cold weather jacket. That's the easy part, all right? Hard part are 2 things. One, the manipulation of the firearm, all right? There are people that say that some guns work better than other guns when they're cold and stuff. You'll see that the SEALs don't carry their M4s in the Arctic. They carry M14s because the M14 has a piston, not a gas impingement system, and it runs better in extreme cold. All right, maybe there's truth to that, but I know guys up stationed in Alaska, their M4s run great year-round. They really do. The big thing is use a lubricant on it that doesn't gum up at lower temperatures. In other words, you can't just use your cheap oils. Actually look it up, do your homework, and get lubricants that work good when the gun is cold. All right. The big thing is keep your guns dry. And then also understand when you first get out to the range, your optic might be fogged up. Why? Because you just took it out of a warm building, because you are you're a soft person. You're soft. You don't stay out in this stuff. If you're getting ready to go train, especially when I go hunting, I leave all my guns and equipment in the vehicle and the vehicle outside the garage, so that it is at the winter temperature already. Then when you pull that gun out, that optic's not fogged up because the optic is already at the correct temperature. We actually run into this a lot with the camera equipment. The camera crew wants to stay inside where it's warm. They wait till we have everything set up, and then they come running out with their cameras, and the cameras are all fogged up. You have to leave the camera equipment outside so it gets to the appropriate temperature. All right, but the big thing for cold weather training, you're gonna have to shorten your stock a little bit because you've got thicker clothing. You still want that proper eye relief. But the big thing is your dexterity and manipulation of the guns. Big, heavy winter gloves. You're not going to be able to transition to that pistol properly. There's actually, on a lot of your guns, those don't have it. But if you look on the actual M16s, the bottom of the trigger guard, your trigger guard that goes below the trigger, you'll see that piece actually has a push pin, and it is designed to be folded open. So in case you have big mittens, you could put your mittens up in there. I've never had to use it, not one time, never. Even in Korea, we had what was called trigger finger mittens. You keep your hand in the mittens. When it came time to shoot, you take that trigger finger and pull it out of the mitten, stick it into that part of the glove, and you could use your M16A2 just fine. But what we started doing is we'd have our assault gloves. We always wore Nomex with leather palms so that inside the building, explosive breaching, stuff like that, you didn't want to get burnt, fireballs and stuff. So even in the heat of the summer, we always wore Nomex gloves. So in the winter, we still wore our Nomex gloves, but if your hands are frozen, you're worthless. So we would wear our Nomex gloves, but then we had our heavy winter gloves or mittens that go over the outside. All right. Now, the key, you guys know how you practice the drill going from rifle to pistol, called a transition drill, right? Rifle to pistol. You practice that for year-round fighting. Perfect. Cold weather shooting, you need to practice one more drill, and that drill is the initial engagement with your heavy gloves, that initial burst of gunfire. All right, then it's pulling off your heavy gloves with just your Nomex gloves underneath, and then you're back to shooting normal. Transition your pistol, speed reloads, everything else can be done normal with thin Nomex gloves. But whenever you take a break to jam magazines, anything like that, or just standing around, all your initial drills you need to be doing with your heavy gloves on the outside. Remember, you dress in layers. You need to do the same thing with your hands. Now, you'll see in a lot of the videos, you'll see me wearing a quarterback hand warmer on my front, because you can't really jam magazines wearing gloves. So now you're out there and your hands are getting frozen. And take a quarterback hand warmer. You can buy them at Walmart, camouflage, and you hang it on your front. You put a couple hand warmers in there, the chemical hand warmers. Take off your gloves, grab your magazine, take your magazine, put it inside the hand warmer, take a handful of bullets, put it in the other side of the hand warmer. Now in there with those chemical hand warmers, you can jam your magazines. Pull that full mag out, grab your next empty mag, put it back in there, keep filling. You need more bullets, pull that hand out, grab more bullets, put it back in there, and your hands are staying warm. You got to keep your hands warm, guys. You got to keep your hands warm. Got to keep your hands warm. I was actually out shooting the other day, snow, and that's what I had to do. And it was not as cold as 2 days prior when I had Randy and Brittany here, and we had some freezing rain a little bit, but then it just got balls ass cold. The sun started to go down, and it doesn't matter about snow, it matters temperature. We got a few more minutes before we draw. Again, if you guys want to win this Ruck cleaning kit, 9mm 5.56 cleaning kit by ProShot, you can put the word Joe into the chat room. You can enter a maximum of 3 times. We are going to draw the winner at 9 o'clock on the dot. I already did that one. Element fire extinguisher. Already did that one. Rifle preps. The Clever Conquistador. Can you ask Carl if he recommends poly plates over ceramic plates? Here's the problem with ceramic plates, guys. Ceramic plates are one-hit plates. That's what the Army ran because they get shot one time, they stop anything. Ceramic plates are very, very light. They've got the Kevlar behind them. And ceramic plates will stop anything. But they're only good for one shot. After that, and I understand if you hit somewhere else where the ceramic's not broke, it'll stop a second shot. I got that. Right? For everybody going, they'll stop everything. No. Once the ceramic shatters, that part of the ceramic is no longer any good. Now, my SF guys, we would run what was called multi-hit plates. They had to be able to take 10 hits before they failed. All right, so the Army running their ceramic plates, and we ran ceramic plates sometimes. We did sometimes. But the reason why the Army ran them was one shot, bang, goes down. Oh shit, I just got shot. He could get pulled to the side and somebody else would step up. Green Berets don't have that option. You get shot going up the stairs, pop, pop, pop. Oh, snap, that sucked. You keep going up the stairs. There's no quitting. There's no stopping. They're not going to grab another A-team to replace your A-team. They'll replace you when you die. So anyways, our plates had to be multi-hit plates. Now, so I don't care what your plates are made out of, whether they're poly this or whether they're titanium. There are guys running titanium plates. Ceramic, this, that. It doesn't matter. Whatever plates you are running, again, you need to look at your situation. Are you good with taking one hit and then taking yourself out of the fight? I'm sorry, honey. They hit my plate. My plate's no longer good. You're up. You guard the long hallway now. I'm going to hold the phone and talk to the cops. That might be good enough. All right. But if your job is to stay in the fight, then I'm going to invite you politely to get multi-hit plates. All right. That's just the truth to that. It is just the truth. Wow, guys, I'm hurting. And my wife's getting ready to come down here and yell at me because I know she's going to say, Carl, you're COVID positive. You're supposed to cut it short tonight. She really does care about me. The only reason why she hasn't come down is because she's up there with COVID right now. Poor girl. John A. at TR Live, how does one with blood thinners stay warm in these negative temperatures, especially during a zombie apocalypse or shit hit the fan scenario? Because we all know craziness doesn't care about weather. All right. Blood thinners, medications, blood thinners cut down on the clotting properties of your blood. It doesn't actually dilute your blood with more water. It doesn't. It just blocks the clotting factors. So if you get cut, you're not going to clot as well. You can still clot. Tourniquets still work fine on people that have blood thinners. That's the truth. Tourniquets will always work if put on properly. All right. But honest, would it affect temperature resistance being on blood thinners versus not being on blood thinners? Maybe a little, but you know what matters even more? You being skinny. So this is a heart attack. A fat person standing next to a skinny meth addict, the skinny meth addict will go into hypothermia faster than the fat person will. Why? One's wearing a fur coat year round. That's all insulation. You understand, if you have got 8 inches of adipose tissue, that is the same as a skinny guy putting on a jacket with 8 inches of insulation. It's the same thing. It's why fat people in the summertime sweat a lot. That's just the truth. Oh, you got to turn down the heat in the house. You've got extra insulation. I'm serious as a heart attack. I'm not being rude. If you're a meth addict and you're skinny as a rail, okay, you like meth, no big deal. If you're overweight and you're good with that, dude, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, when it comes to resistance to cold weather, hypothermia, a skinny meth addict does not have the insulation on that a heavier person has. Now, the flip side of that is that meth addict can put on thick clothing, have the same insulation properties as that fat person has, but now the thin person is not having to carry as much weight, and especially somebody that's in better shape, they will be able to perform better. If you had to move in a survival situation, they're always going to be able to respond better to the cold. And guys, that's the problem with extreme. Somebody extremely overweight, he's going to be a problem. But that's one extreme. What's another extreme? These guys that are the big muscle builders, the bodybuilders, that they build their bodies just to look good, because they've got that, that propensity that they like looking at guys in Speedos and flexing, right? That's their thing, okay? They suck at doing combat. They suck at it. I mean, they really suck at it. And where I got to see that a lot was I actually had a professional, he was a coach. He was a bodybuilder coach. And I mean, he was cut up like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He could have been Arnold Schwarzenegger's coach. And he was from Los Angeles, and that's what he was. He was a professional trainer to teach guys, a lot of these actors, how to get in shape for these movie parts. You understand, that's a movie part. That's not real combat. It's not real combat. We just did an obstacle course down at Tier 1 group outside of Memphis. I would run that obstacle course wearing body armor, rifle and pistol, and always had a good time on it. Just slick in boots, uniform, and a t-shirt, no gun, no body armor, no nothing. That obstacle course kicked his ass because he had pretty muscles. He could bench 500 pounds. You don't need to bench 500 pounds in combat. You don't. You need to be able to bench your body weight. You need to be able to pull your body weight up over the wall, not just one time. You have to have that balance of cardio and everything. He had all strength, no cardio, and he'd tell you he could do cardio. He did all these runs, and running is not the end all be all of cardio. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, try swimming. Guys that run good, a lot of times have a hard time swimming. Guys that are good at swimming don't always do good at running, but you get your triathlon guys that can do both. Their cardio's through the roof. They're awesome. Man, that is some good coffee right there. Good coffee. Guys, if you ever are passing through the package store and you find a bottle on the shelf of Patron XO Cafe, this is tequila with a coffee liqueur in it. Patron no longer makes it. Buy up all the bottles you ever find for the rest of your life, because when the zombie apocalypse happens and, guys will be trading gold and silver, and you understand 22 long rifle ammo will become a currency. That's the truth. 22 LR will actually be a currency. But alcohol, in particular, Patron XO Cafe, going to be awesome. All right, guys, you've got a minute left. So if you want to get in on it, you be sure to enter. It doesn't matter. Susan's already drawn. She's got a computer program that draws the winner. She drew it early, but I'm not going to tell you guys. So if you want to enter, you can still enter. All right, that was our last question. All right, drum roll. Donut, will you do a drum roll for me? I appreciate it. All right, the winner of the Pro Shot Ruck Cleaning Kit is Brian Chapman. Brian Chapman, right there. Brian Chapman, you are the winner. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now, for the rest of you guys, I know you want one because this thing's badass. You can go to proshot.com, use code TR2023, and that saves you 15% off everything on their website. Totally badass. And I want to say thank you to Joe the Knife Guy for reaching out to them and getting us that giveaway. Thank you, Donut, for the drum roll. I appreciate it. Here's the deal. It's Brian, right? Brian Chapman. Congrats on winning. Here's what I need you to do. Take a picture of your avatar from your YouTube page. Put it in, email it to tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. All one word, tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. And let me know that you won the Pro Shot Cleaning Kit on such and such date, and give me your mailing address. I'll double check, make sure that's actually your avatar, and you're not Ray Craddock over in Hawaii who pretends to be every winner every week. I'm exaggerating. He hasn't done it in quite a while. Ray, I'm just making fun of you because I love you, brother. We have had people try to get other people's stuff. It's sad that stuff happens. But yeah, congrats, Brian, on winning. Guys, again, proshot.com. It's a decent cleaning kit. Guys, look how smooth that is. No molly, no nothing, no wasted, nothing. A zipper on one side. It's got everything you want for 9mm and 5.56. Look at the sexy little T-handle and everything. Cleaning rod, everything you need. I'm pretty sure I could squeeze a... Man, it's got a chamber brush and everything in there. That's a badass kit right there. I might keep that second one. Nah, we'll do another giveaway. All right, guys, here's the deal. I had a ton of notes I wanted to talk about. I had a ton of notes. But here's the deal. I'm dragging, and my wife's upstairs laid up with COVID. I'm laid up with COVID, and I think I'm going to call it. I do. I think we're going to call it tonight. So it's been awesome hanging out with you guys. Next Tuesday, I'm hoping Steve Holland will be back. I'm hoping I'm over COVID by then. I feel bad that the problem with COVID, guys, is you're contagious for a couple days before you even realize you have it. And that really is the bad part of COVID, when normally with the flu, by the time you're contagious, you already know you have the flu. You understand? That's what makes COVID bad, is you are literally spraying virus everywhere before you even realize you have it. And unfortunately, my son had it last week. And then he caught it from his bandmates who caught it at a show. The guys at the show had it, gave it to him. The guy in my son's band, he gave it to my son and my son's guitar player. My son obviously gave it to Helen and David. And please everybody keep Helen and David in your prayers. I hope they're okay. And then Helen and David did the right thing. We're not feeling good. We're not coming down for Christmas celebration, but we had just spent Christmas Eve with them. And that was 2 days ago. So yesterday, Addie and Denny, my brother-in-law and everything, his fiance, they started feeling bad. Today, the tests come back positive, and now me and the wife, we're dragging. So Not the end of the world. It'd take more than COVID to kill me. You guys know the deal. Nobody can kill bonds but bonds. No, don't talk like that. I hope I make it through. I do. I hope I make it through. For all I know, a satellite could come down and hit my house tonight. You know, shit happens. Is what it is. Dude, just be a good person. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. I have. We're getting ready to wrap up 2022. 2023, I got a lot going on. I do. I got a lot going on, a lot planned in 2023. Got a lot of great classes that are already on the calendar. If you want to sign up for a class with me and our other tactical rifleman instructors, you can sign up at tacticalrifleman.com. Go there. You can click on the store, go straight and see all the classes, and then see what classes, what dates are available for each class. Or you can click on events and it pulls up a calendar. For example, if you know I can only take classes during spring break, go to that calendar and see what classes we've got during that time period. We've got classes almost every month, If you don't see it on the calendar, it's probably because I've got a private class. I like private classes. Sometimes, especially if it's a military class or law enforcement class, your department or whatever. But a lot of times, I prefer public classes because I get to actually hang out with you guys. So, anyways, I hope you guys will sign up for classes in 2023. We're not making anything off of YouTube anymore. So I pay the bills with my support of my patrons on Patreon. For my patrons, just a reminder, tomorrow night is our Zoom live stream. For all my patrons on Patreon. You have to be a Silver Star patron. I got that. I hope I'm feeling better by tomorrow night. Gonna be awesome. Wow. Gonna be great. It's gonna be a good day. Promise. But for the rest of y'all, I hope y'all will come out and do classes with us. I'm sorry I'm dragging tonight, guys, but I think we've had a pretty good live stream, all things considered. If you're interested in getting training, not just with tactical riflemen, but something else in the firearm industry, be sure to check out our sponsor right here, Sonoran Desert Institute. It's online classes, guys. Why go to Central Texas College and get a bachelor's degree in basket weaving when you could take that same GI Bill and learn some decent skills in the firearms industry at Sonoran Desert Institute? Good stuff indeed. Let's tap out. What do you guys say? You good with that? You guys ready to call it quits? I know I'm ready to call it quits. What do you guys say? Yep. All right. Special thanks to my moderators out there for doing all this. Thanks, guys. And yeah, please keep my family in your prayers. Brandon, Moody, Fezig, all you guys, you know, I do appreciate all your support. I really, really do. Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Steve Holland will be back. It's going to be great. Y'all take care and shoot straight.
Coming right there.